Can what be done
Your
today?
idea of bringing Ultraverse can it be done today?
Um,
Can it ever be done again?
I don't, well, it could be done again someday, maybe in digital, but it's gonna require the industry to start to coalesce, and there's been no movement toward coalescing in the last 10 years. Everything is shattering. That's why print's dead, is because there's 8 million magazines and none of them have got enough readership to justify the ads they're selling. TV, there used to be 3 channels when I was a child, then there were 20, now there's 1,000. I mean, everything's shattering into tinier and tinier pieces. And so how do you, the challenge is always, how do you find a big enough audience that's willing to plunk down their money to make it worthwhile? And comics is having the same problem. And there's just, I mean, everybody says, oh, there's too many titles, and yet you have a room like this one yesterday about how to market small press, and it fills up with guys who want to publish their own comic. Well, I admire their chutzpah. Welcome to the poorhouse. I don't know. Maybe someday, when the messages, when the comic book reader, or the majority of the comic book readers, have 10 news sources instead of 200, maybe we'll have a coalescing of what we like and what we want to read. And there's still a little bit of that, but it's just so spread out, and you can see it in the sales figures of the top 300. The good news is, if there can be a good news, being a little too much inside baseball again, I'm sorry, but that comic book at number 300, as was rightly pointed out to me, in the last 2 years, has doubled in the sales figure, the number of copies it's selling. So hard copy sales are coming up even while digital is eating out the bottom. So we might be seeing the first steps now of a decent turnaround, but we can't stumble, we can't fall, we can't F it up. We'll see. Does that answer your question at all?
So Larry,
Yeah. Well,
favorite story, favorite something that happened there?
probably my favorite highlight is probably the most that it tested me as an artist, especially was when I got to ink.
Working in the same room with Moose?
Moose and Tim Eldred, boy, were they a pair.
Sorry, inside baseball again, I apologize.
Probably was when I actually inked a whole issue of Freaks, literally in under 2 weeks, because the book was so late in deadline, and the regular inker on the book had broken his wrist. So it had to turn to me to turn the book around and to ink that whole issue in 2 weeks. And if anybody knew Ben Herrera, when he was inking on that, he was sort of like a cross between like Brian Stelfreeze and Cully Hamner type of a flow to his artwork. So Tim Eldred assisted me on that book, and it irritated the heck out of me because he filled all my blacks in with Sharpies. And as an inker, you just know that you hate Sharpies with a passion, because you know that they're the worst thing to ink with. But he loved using them because he inked a lot of like a manga type stuff. He penciled and inked a lot of manga. So, you know, he did that, and he just like, but we had to get the book done, and he got it done for me. So, you know, he filled in all my blacks, and everything was fine. And that was one of my biggest highlights to the book, or to just working for Malibu. I mean, I have other stories too, but that was one of my highlights that I remember to this day.
Did anybody else call it Free X instead of Freaks? I got criticized incessantly for naming. So the name of I came up with the name of the book, okay? And so people would come up to us and say, "Where's the new Free X?" I'm like, really? Seriously? You can't pronounce Freaks with an X? Sorry.
Sounds like a household cleaner or something.
There you go. Yeah.
Fresh Freaks.
Yeah.
How about you, Joe?
Wow, I mean,
It's hard to pin down any one experience. The whole thing was awesome from getting the job. Like I said, I was young. I was right out of college, and I was pretty much starting my dream of my career, which
It
was
was a
coloring
great
comic
place to
books.
work, wasn't it, Joe?
It was an awesome place
We
to
had
work.
a lot of fun.
I mean, one of the things I say about Malibu is I still have a lot of friends from there. I mean, there are so many great, talented people. I'm still best friends with Scott from the coloring department, and I stay in touch with Emily and Hank and so many other people, you know, via Facebook. It's just because there was just such a group of awesome people that worked there. And if I have to pick one highlight, it was probably one of the cool things that Malibu did for us was, you know, at the beginning of the books, since there was a team of colorists, there was maybe 5 colorists per book, so we would all color maybe 5 pages in each book. It wasn't like nowadays where there's one colorist per book, it was a whole team. So on the cover, or on the inside cover with credit, it would have our team name. Like mine was Prism Riot, or Gone Fishing is where I started. It would say, you know, pages colored by Prism Riot. But Malibu was cool enough that with their Ultraverse, pretty sure this was pre-Marvel, but they, in the back, they would actually list all of our names separately. So you could flip to the back of the book and it would say Prism Riot is, and it would have all the colorists' individual names, which nobody was doing back then. No colorist on the team was getting credit anywhere. So just to be able to flip to the back of a comic book at that time, I was, you know, 22 or whatever. To see my name in there was just freaking awesome. Yeah, and just to be living it, just to be coloring comic books every day was awesome. And it was, honestly, it was the launch of my career. I was able to use it to get to where I am now, and
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
still an artist, so it's awesome.
Yeah, anyone have one more question? We're gonna close it out here. Anyone?
Go!
I don't really have a question to comment since we're talking about kind of good vibes as a reader. Strangers #5 is one of my first comics. And it still remains one of my favorite comics today. The stuff they did with Spectral and his kind of journey through that issue, dealing with his friends. This is what kind of made those superhero comics great. So I just want to say, you know, thank you guys.
All right, what was in that issue, what was the character arc of Adam Bob, which is like the worst hero name ever?
Adam Bob.
Adam Bob, wasn't that awesome? Awesome and stupid all in one name.
Wasn't that a garbage pail kid?
Thank you guys for coming, that was
Thank
very
you,
nice,
guys.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, James, Larry, Joe, and Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark, for doing this.
Thank you, Mark.